Hey, Peace World. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind video. My name is Wood. Please hit that subscribe button. If you like the way that any of the subjects or topics are being discussed, broken down, analyzed, reviewed, recapped, hit that like button. I'd appreciate, the chance to wrap with anybody on any of these topics and, continue discussions or even learn something from somebody else, hear somebody else's point of view. Wow, man. Getting into this, the season finale for season four finale for Insecure. The episode was called Low Key Lost. Huge, applause for Issa and Yvonne Orji this year. I think she got to do a lot of solo stuff, and we saw a lot of growth from her. As well as Prentice Penny, I believe he penned the finale and directed it. I think he did both. But just huge shout out to them for a really awesome season, a really interesting season, a really engaging season, a really complete season. I mentioned, I'm pretty sure this was the first season that they had 10 episodes. And my wife brought it to my attention. I didn't even realize that there was that lengthy of a break in between season 3 and season 4. I guess that was created by Issa's scheduling with some of the movies that she's been involved in and whatnot. And they took the time to go in. I mean, to really make something really dope. I think its appeal is wide ranging. The way the direction that they chose to take these relationships in, the way that they pulled or stretched, these characters and their growth and whatnot. Everything that we've seen play out with Molly and Issa and their relationship, as well as her failed relationship with Andrew. So the obvious big reveal here this week was, I was wondering, they addressed her and Molly left off last week. I did expect to see Molly this week, mainly Molly and Andrew, to be honest. We did get that, but the biggest headline is that just as Issa and Lawrence are getting in a great place, although Lawrence has gotten his job up in San Francisco with his own assistant in a corner office and his team, which he said he didn't need to be a team leader or be the leader, but that's what he's gotten, or that looks like what he's going to accept. He's going to be a trolley neither. All of this is going on, and he comes out, and the reason why Condola had been wanting to talk with him was because she's pregnant. And this is at the height of, earlier in the episode, Lawrence does come out and tells, I'd seen this comment being made, or this complaint, this issue with Lawrence, that he was kind of being coy, or just he was very indirect with what he wanted to out of this relationship. Didn't want to name it, didn't want to classify what it was or whatever. And earlier in this episode, he expressed that directly. I want this to work, and then at the same time, Issa's like, you make me happy, and I just want to be around at this stage in my. That's a great place to get to. A wonderful place to get to recognize what makes you happy, what makes an individual happy, or who, and to just focus on that. And that's something I've been working on the last 3 to 4 years. And life is it's pretty good. So it's awesome that they've reiterated this a few times about being happy. But what do they do now? So the other big storyline here is the resolution of the relationship between, or the conclusion of the relationship between Andrew and Molly. And Molly was really vulnerable and is like, I'm willing to put in the work. I want to put in the work. And Andrew is kind of crazy. And this is kind of what goes on in relationships. I said it's very authentic storytelling. But he's going through, and they hadn't shown them in the bedroom too much lately. So maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here. But, he was milking the cow and whatnot in my mind while they didn't show it. But at the same time, he kind of is working on an exit strategy. And he goes back and tells her, and we all knew that her skipping that Clippers game was kind of the death knell. But he brings that up, you hold on to everything. And really, she was trying to de-escalate the situation. This all stems from him not wanting to go to the the after party thing or whatever with her work people. And Molly's just really turned around in what's what. And she's like, well, when I was working late, you had a problem with that. And she was in the wrong in a lot of this stuff, in all honesty. And it cost her. And even though, and it was kind of odd to me because he was just he was kind of as cold and final with Molly as Molly was with Issa last week. He was like, what are you even doing this for right now? Flipping it on her. He wanted to get out of it, but he's flipping it the real reason on her. What are you fighting for right now? That just struck me a little odd. He was the one that pushed the relationship to that discussion and wanted to be out of it. And here she is saying that she wants to work at it. And he's like, but this is because he's allowed that to fester. So that looks like, maybe we see something on that next year. I don't know, but it looked like they might be moving on. And he'd given up. He'd given a lot of ground. He tried to work with her, and like I said, I think it just the resentment set in, and Molly was just too inflexible. So getting over to the situation with trying to find Tiffany and Derek trying to find her. It was interesting that they had that storyline in there to take up so much of the episode when we had these other two major storylines going on. The one thing that caught that to bring this to the current situation, they wrote and filmed this months and months ago, a year ago probably. They had a confrontation with the police when the bus driver, ushered the police over to address Kelly pressing the button, and being rude and loud. This was, if you saw the footage, the body cam footage in this situation in Atlanta, where the police shot Rayshard Brooks in the back. I felt like what these police did in this scene, and this is Hollywood writing, or this is a written fictional series and whatnot, but that cop made a decision that what I'm dealing with right now is really some simple stuff. I'm gonna get out of it. Y'all go y'all separate ways and be done. I was telling my wife and watching the video with Rayshard Brooks, Rayshard Brooks gave them a simple solution. His sister lived right down the street. I thought they could have played ball with him a little bit, but the one officer was trying to lead him towards grounds to arrest him. Whereas he could have just said, oh, your sister is down here. Well, look, I didn't see you driving this car. And my wife said I might have been a little wrong on what the actual law is, but I didn't see you driving this car. I give you a little credit that you got off the road and were over here asleep versus risking and endangering the lives of others. So let's get you to your mom, to your sister if she's over here, and let's get out of here. But things escalated and this man lost his life. Sorry for that short tangent, but I just felt like they showed you how cops could think and de-escalate situations And here this weekend with this footage coming up, it's just very unfortunate. 1 minute a man is telling you about his daughter's birthday party, and yes, he's had some drinks, but the next minute you're shooting him in the back multiple times. It's crazy juxtaposition there. But so then, like I said, they play that out. Derek and her have they embrace. They do this in front of the girls, and we'll assume that they'll try to work through that. She was, Tiffany was calling out for attention and didn't know what to do. So that's that. We've already dealt with the Lawrence thing, and I'm over my 10-minute mark at 11. I just wonder, Issa spent the time out on her porch smoking some loud and thinking about whether or not. And I heard this that she mentioned in the wind down that this very large milestone in the firstborn is going to happen with Condola and a woman that he's no longer with. And while he's come out and said, I want to be with you, that might just not be enough because that's a tough that doesn't go away. That doesn't go away once the baby is born or whatever. Like, and Condola left it out there. You can or can't be involved. It's up to you. But she wanted to keep it. This is a very interesting situation, man. I like. We'll see what happens next. That's a huge ask on a relationship. And then in Issa's situation, I mean, she has this other individual. Nathan came out there and said he was wrong for calling Lawrence in that situation, the way that he said it was some bullshit or something. And seems willing to try to be a friend. But I mean, I don't know how you could really, what kind of friends could they really be moving forward with that history? Seems like that was setting them up would set Issa up for failure. But now, maybe she has the options of do this thing with Lawrence, which is going to be long distance. And then with the other issue with this child being involved. And then, or then do you go and try to make something with Nathan, who it was in its infancy when that fell apart, but they do have a strong connection, and Nathan really, cherishes her in that relationship. So she has those options. I'm just excited to see what they do with it, Either way they went with it, I guess I would be there to watch it and take it in and see what they do. Again, salute to them for telling a very well-rounded story this season, and I really enjoyed it. I really did. I'll leave it at that. Like I said, Pay Me No Mind is the name of the channel. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.